You hear the term monster truck a lot, but you don't really hear monster SUV. It's because there really aren't many, but there are some. And how you define that, well, this would be a good case here. This here is the 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. L meaning it's already big, but bigger because they've added an extra foot to the back for more cargo. This really is a monster. Let's take a look at it. So driving in this Grand Wagoneer L, under the hood to get me along is a twin turbocharged V6 3-liter, which is different than the naturally aspirated V8 that is in the regular Grand Wagoneer, not the L version. In terms of output, this twin turbo V6 puts out 510 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. So why would you put a smaller engine turbocharged with less displacement into a larger, heavier vehicle? Well, they say fuel economy. This is supposed to be about a 15% fuel economy savings compared to the V8. And what is that fuel economy? Well, according to US economy, fueleconomy.gov in the United States, the combined fuel rating for this, it's 17 US miles per gallon. That is 13.8 liters per 100 kilometers. My experience for this week has been not as good. In fact, I'm hovering, I'm just on the way back. I'm bringing this back now after a week with it, and I'm probably going to return it at around 14.3 or so, but I've been a good 15% or so above. We can't forget this is a really heavy vehicle. We're talking a curb weight of about 6,700 pounds and a gross vehicle weight of like just under 8,000. We're talking when you're loaded up, it's 7,950 as the gross vehicle weight. So, I mean, how could you make this more fuel efficient? I don't know. I mean, you could try to think of this as being a full battery electric, but we've got the Wagoneer S, and I think that this brand or this sub-brand will take that and leave it for now. I mean, you could certainly do it because if there's an F-150 Lightning, if there's a Silverado, we're talking similar size, you could. You could possibly even do a plug-in hybrid, although the 4xe that Jeep has right now with its limited EV-only range really wouldn't be much benefit. So, I mean, if there's perhaps going to be a next-gen 4xe, and if they're going to keep this model, they're going to have to come up with something because, you know, there are regulations in place in both the US and Canada that we're going to have to see zero-emission vehicles as new vehicle sales. So this will have to have something at some point. Throughout the week, I just couldn't help but be gobsmacked at how big this thing is. My neighbors see me all the time with different vehicles, but they stop and say, "What is this?" Because it's so huge. It has an overall length, this long version of the Grand Wagoneer, of 18 feet 11 inches. Call it 19 feet. That's a full 5 inches longer than the Ford Expedition Max. It's even an inch longer than the Chevy Suburban, which I always thought was the bus of all SUV buses, but this has it beat. In terms of its height, it stands about 6'7" when you're looking at up to the top of the roof rails. And then if you put the air suspension on like this has, you can get up to 10 inches of ground clearance. Well, I mean, you're looking at a wall. One of the main reasons you would take a vehicle like this, of course, is cargo space, and it has a lot of it. When you're looking at terms of how much, going from the back of the third row in behind, this is the L part of it, the extended length behind the third row, you've got 44 cubic feet of cargo space, and that's a big differentiator, and that's a big advantage in a vehicle like this, since normally the third row behind it, you've got like a few inches. If you put the third row seats down, then you're up to 89 cubic feet, and if you put the second and third row seats down, behind the first row, you've got 113 cubic feet of cargo space. That is a lot. It's not as much as the Expedition Max. Last summer, I had the Expedition Max, and I reviewed it for cargo space in about 121 cubic feet, and it was a great video. I'm going to put the link up because I proved how much space it had by helping a bunch of recently arrived Ukrainian displaced refugees from the war, and we had people donating furniture, and I helped them move it. Now, in this vehicle, I managed to move a buffet and a hutch, no problem. But there is less space here compared to the Expedition Max because probably the entertainment console that is on the climate console between the second row there, it's a little bit immobile. So that probably affects it as well. Still, a lot of space. And I guess this is why people would want it, that very niche marketplace, because you could put 7 people comfortably in here, and adults fit really comfortably in the 3rd row. Plus, you've got plenty of room for cargo. So if you're that family that's large and goes on long drives, well, with lots of luggage or vacations, then this would be right. But this really is a niche vehicle because it's also a luxury vehicle. I mean, if you need something for cargo, you could get something at a lot less price point than this, but you have this with all the amenities and all the luxuries, and you have this very, like I said, niche product that's not got a big market cap, but for those who would want something like this, well, it's a pretty appealing option. And that's all for my look at the 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. If you enjoyed it, please indicate so by liking, commenting, and sharing it with others. If you're not subscribed to my Novak Report YouTube channel, please consider doing so, and if you are, make sure you're ringing the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload something new. And that's all for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.